Okay, so at one time I did a video. It was a nighttime video. I did it on my video camera because I wanted to show this stick right here drove in the ground is from this maple tree, assuredly. Okay, and I can understand that it'd come down, smash, and maybe stick in the ground like a javelin. But if you look over there, that one is a white pine. All right, it's 8 feet tall, drove in the ground. And right next to it is another one that's about 4 inches thick. It's a Y stick, and it is drove in the ground. Take you over there, show you something. Like I say, you guys might never ever see this. I'm doing it on my iPhone, so maybe I will show it to you just because it's so easy to load up. But there's a backstory to this, and I don't want to string it on for a long time. I'm gonna get covered in ticks. So what I had noticed was that there was a bare spot. Vines. Hold on. Oh my God. All right. That there is a hollowed out area inside of all this brush. Okay? And from that area, you can look right over through this shed and see right into my kitchen window where I'm always at, doing dinner, washing dishes, helping Camille with her homework, and so on and so forth. This is a pine stick, and it is drove in the ground, snapped off at the top. There you go. All right, pines. Here we go. This is just a little field pine. It'll grow up to be a bigger pine, but there's nothing on that pine remotely close to be able to, you know, mother a branch like that. Maybe this one. Okay, you can see over there, I've got power lines, so cleared out. I don't have any other big pines over there. What I do have is that super large pine and these ones over here. 40, 60, 70 feet away. At least 70 feet, maybe 80 feet away. And you see I have poplars right here. You see everything that's in the way. How did a branch snap off of that great big pine tree and tumble through the sky and land here javelined into the ground? And this stick right here. Soon, and I think I got it figured out. I just don't have time. It's time. It takes a long time to get videos off this phone and load it up to my computer so I can combine other footage with the footage off of this phone when I hardly ever use this thing anymore, but when I do, and I have things on this phone that I've told you guys I'm going to show you, Matt, the videos you want to watch, I did. I got a SanDisk USB Lightning, plugged it into the phone. It uploaded every single one except for those and a handful of other videos. So now I have to go get another one and try to delete everything else off my phone and just upload those. But it's time, okay? Either way, hope you guys are having a great day. Before I was ever even thought about looking into this Sasquatch subject, across the front of my yard, first snowstorm, when it was still hunting season. Keep in mind, my neighbors, my landlord's son lives right there, and my landlord lives right on the other side of me. And they hunt deer avidly. And they fill that barn full of deer. 10, 12, however many tags they can get. I got ticks on me. And I came home and something had run across my yard. Yes, I came home. It was the afternoon, late afternoon. Man, it might have been morning. Morning? Either way, it doesn't matter. From that barn over there, across my yard, across my driveway, all the way across my yard, past a telephone pole, through the woods, up and across the road, was somebody that took off on a dead run and had a 7-foot or maybe 8-foot stride through the snow. I called up my landlord, George. I'm like, hey, George. I'm like, did you have to run across my yard to go over to the pole? And this is on the other video you haven't seen. And because we had troubles with the 2 main posts on this pole had vibrated and came loose when it was like 20 below zero. And it was later in the winter. It was later in the winter. So this might have been actually more towards the later half of winter, headed for spring, and it was a late snowstorm. And that is I'm gonna have to figure this out, but I think that would be more correct, because we had the problem with the post, and that's why I had thought, did something go wrong? Did you have to run up here? He said, no, I didn't. I called Clinton. He said, I didn't run across your yard. Mind you, there was like 8, 9, 10 inches of snow, maybe a foot of snow. And in order to make a 7-foot stride, you'd have to be running, I would have to be running pretty quick, all right? Even a big guy to make a 7-foot stride would have to be running pretty good in a foot of snow, gradual uphill. And why would you run by my pole and go into the woods and run up and cross the road? That was the very first thing that ever could have happened here, but I wasn't thinking about Sasquatch at that time. I never even looked at, I just, you know, who the hell ran across my yard? And then, of course, you may have heard, or maybe you haven't heard, but once I went up on Lake Desolation Road and went down there to try to find that spot to fish on that fly, I think it's Irish fly or something, and walked that creek bed down, heard them hooting and all that, blah, blah, blah. Got down there, too thick, getting late, turn around, come back, go around the front of that swamp, and then beeline straight, headed for my truck. All of a sudden, rocks and sticks come flying through the woods. I turn around, I got a video. It says, possible encounter summer of 2020. Those were rocks and sticks come flying through the woods. Up until that point, those tracks across my yard were the only thing. Within that night, it was either that night or within a few nights of when that happened up there, I'm just dozing off to bed. Next thing I know, I hear crack, and my daughter starts screaming, Dad, Daddy! I come running in. I'm like, what the hell was that? I don't know, I'm scared. I'm like, hold on. I ran out the front door, nothing out there. And I really didn't think at that time. And then after the next day, I started thinking, no way. It was only like 2 nights later, and my head's right against the wall. And if you went outside on the side and smacked the wall, that happened. One other thing happened, and then everything quieted down. And this all happened then. We were sitting, I was at the table doing paperwork, Camille was in the living room, and something had lifted up the cooker on our front porch late at night on a Saturday night, and the cooker went crash. And I remember saying, damn cats are getting in the cooker. I don't know. Now, I've always thought about, is there Sasquatch right around here? You know, there's individuals that say, hey, listen, when it's on your mind and you're thinking about it, you kind of draw them in. Well, I've been looking for them around my house. Don't think I haven't come out here with my thermals and scanned around and such, but really, to be honest with you, for the last couple of years, nothing really, other than what I just told you. And then a couple weeks ago, I come home, and with my truck lights aiming up in there, I see those sticks. And I go up in there and check that out. And there's like bedded areas over in there. Now those bedded areas, I always have deer, and I feed the living piss out of this area with nuts and berries and bird seed and all sorts of feed that I throw all the way around my entire property every single morning and sometimes at night. I have thousands of birds. I have a family of crows that know me very well. All these birds just start coming to life in the morning when I throw them the feed. I love them all. These sticks, for the sake of research, folks, I know there's individuals out there that do not think that these stick breaks and sticks here and the way that they're propped up or stuck in the ground mean much of anything. But I think you should really give some thought to the fact that wouldn't it seem very logical that if a human-like primate, family-oriented, lives up into the woods, what do you think them children are playing with? What do you think they would do? Obviously, their trees are like monkey bars and swings and play and have fun. Obviously, these things need to communicate, and even if they're communicating with ESP, extrasensory perception, try to get cell phone signals through the forest, through a mountain, through a bank. There has to be other ways. They can't send that telepathy very far. Maybe some are stronger than others, but either way, these sticks, if anybody that's listening to this video has been following me, you know that up in Research Area 1, right from the get-go, it started out with, on the main trail, there was a big Y stick that was drove like 9 inches, I think it was, in the ground. Either way, there was another one that was off trail that was drove in the ground. Then there was another stick drove in the ground and another stick drove in the ground. Then there's these little Y sticks left on the ground and these broken ash leaves down. Bada bing, bada boom. Trees snapped across the trail. Trees pushed across the trail. Another tree pushed across the trail. The day that I went up into the woods and I went for a long hike, I was up there early and all day long up in there. The day I saw the bear walked right straight in on me, and I was able, on a very sunny, calm, beautiful day, I was able to have stopped in that area and just happened to be looking up in there and searching with my thermal and my cameras for that mountainside, knowing that if there was a 6-inch maple snapped off at 20 feet in the air pointing down towards the trail, I would have saw that, just like I saw it when I was coming out. And I did a video and I told you, I'm pretty deep into this. I know a lot of people are boo-hooing this and you know, wadding it up and filing it in the G compartment, but I really think you should take a good look at this, and I will let you know that I'm taking it a step further, and there's some things that I'm doing, and you'll see soon enough, probably going into, maybe in the winter, I'll start showing you some of the things that I've been doing with that. I encourage you to go to the, what is that, the Australian Yowie guys over in Australia. Check out their latest videos. Unless those guys are just totally hoaxing, they have twigs of all sorts drove in the trails on main walking trails. You just can't deny it. It's just too much to deny. Now, as far as broken trees, that's a tough one to try to gather what ones are and what ones are not, if any, and why. So that's where we're at, I think. But don't throw it out. It's common sense, right? Come on. If that's your house out there, you're gonna use what's out there. And them kids gotta play. And the parents are gonna communicate. It's gotta mean something. Alright, you guys, thanks for joining me. I gotta get to work. Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks, waving my magic wand. Take care, everybody.